Hey friends, it's not often that you get to thank the people who are directly responsible for you being able to afford food that is akin to filet mignon. And so if you don't know, the graduate students, the TAs and the GAs at UIC, University of Illinois at Chicago, are unionized, and I'm in that union, and I'm a TA, and we're on strike. So I had this idea this morning to do these deviled eggs with a miso kind of twist. It's a really great recipe, I enjoy it, so let's just get started. And I'm going to talk to you about labor movements and strikes and pickets and whatnot as we go through this. So the recipe is pretty simple. I have 8 hard-boiled eggs. Boil your egg for 8 or more minutes. You don't want these to be too soft. We're doing a deviled egg recipe, so we're going to get all of the yolks in here, and I'm going to add in about a tablespoon and a half of miso. I'm using a red miso. We're going to finely cut up some green onions, throw that in there. I'm going to add mayonnaise until I get the texture I want. We're going to season with shichimi togarashi. This is going to be to taste. If you don't have this, just use white or black pepper. I don't think we'll need to salt this because miso is pretty salty. And when you add a lot of umami in your food, one of the sort of grave mistakes that you can make is to oversalt your food, because umami really brings out the saltiness in food as well. You can easily make a dish completely overpowering by adding too much umami and too much salt. Just something to keep in mind. Then we're going to mix all that up, get it back in the eggs. I don't have any sesame seeds, so oh well. I would also finish this with sesame seeds, but I don't have any, and I'm going to use this instead. I don't know what it is. One of my Japanese friends gave me this. I can't read any of it, but it's going to taste really good on here, I think. Alright, let's get started. So the grad union at UIC has been on strike now for 4 days. As of today, we are striking for 3 reasons. 1, we don't get paid enough. Every other comparable research university pays its GAs and TAs more. Chicago is expensive to live in, even if you have roommates. So sorry to the really intelligent person that came up with that solution to this problem, but you know, I think we already thought of that one. Like, our baseline salary is about $18,000 a year, and not everyone even starts at that. That's with a that's for a 50% appointment. Not everybody has a 50% appointment. Some people only have 25% appointments, so that's $9,000 a year. That's pretty bad. The other thing we're trying to get rid of is these fees. UIC, for the grad program, has these incredibly high fees, and they're not things like the venture passes or whatever. We all use those. You know, it's fine. We're not mad about that one. We're mad about the general fees, and we're mad about the international fees. For the international students, it's about $2,000. For the, I guess, domestic students, I don't know, people are like beer, right? People are like beer. I mean, that seems like it's almost true, right? Some of them are layered and complex, and some of them are fun to do yard work with, but, you know, that's about it. Yeah, that seems like a reasonable metaphor. This is the thing that's hard about actually doing this cooking stuff on the internet is I don't actually cook with recipes. I just do everything by how it's supposed to taste and look and like what the texture is. So anyway, the fact of the matter is that a bunch of the fees that we pay as grad students just immediately go right back to the university. And the university, the admin, won't waive the fees and they won't cap them. So any wage increases that we might bargain for, let's just say they won't make up another fee to just cancel out all of the wage increases that we just fought for. We could agree to a crummy deal, but then people who come in after us are screwed. I don't know, maybe you're not supposed to care about like your fellow humans and whatever, but we do. Anyway. Washes. So the other thing that we were fighting for is reappointment policies, and we've actually gotten that one worked out. And then the last thing is healthcare, is they're trying to mess us up on healthcare. They're trying to be sneaky about how they pay for our healthcare. Healthcare costs are going up, fees are going up. I mean, I study mathematics. Come to my discussion sections after we're done being on strike and I'll tell you all about it. But speaking of mathematics, just come down here real quick. I want to show you something. If you want to be real nice about this, cut these at an angle, right? And cut these guys as thin as you can. Get your knuckle against your knife. Thin, diagonal cuts for this. Right. This is just a presentation thing. If you're gonna make something well, put a little tiny bit of time in and it just comes out so nice. The trick here is you just don't want to get these things too thick. So you're eating a deviled egg and you get a big old blast of onion. It's not really what you're going for here. Some of these green onions in here, we don't get them all. We're gonna put some miso in here. Maybe add this just a little bit at a time because once you go too far with the miso, it's pretty hard to recover. So let's just see what we get with a tablespoon. Yeah, no, we're gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna go both. All right, cool. So we're gonna mix again here. Whenever you're doing like salt and pepper, I never tell you exactly how much to put in, and that's because it should be done to taste. Pretty much always how it goes. So anyway, so we've been on strike all week, and we'll continue to be on strike until we get a contract that is livable. One of my best friends came here, started studying at UIC as a grad student. His take on the fees was that they weren't clearly explained to start with. He had no idea that he would be paying that much when he got here. I mean, it winds up being a majority of your first paycheck every semester. And if you're an international student, you can't work elsewhere. So I don't know how you're supposed to live in Chicago on $16,000 a year. You know, God forbid you have kids. For all the UIC admins talk about diversity and inclusion, it's pretty telling if you have to be a single young student who has help from parents or something. For all of their thoughts about diversity and inclusion, it's pretty telling. Talk is cheap. Overall, the whole thing is just really frustrating and irritating. It sucks for us that are grad students. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh yeah. I'm just gonna sneak a little tiny bit of vinegar in there. Just a tiny bit. Just a tiny. It's frustrating and embarrassing for all the grad students to have an administration who so clearly is not interested in the well-being and the welfare of the students and just wants to pump out a product and is going to do so at the expense of all of the people that they claim they're proud of and are the next generation of educators and teachers and researchers. Right? We're not asking for anything unreasonable at all whatsoever. We make $18,000 a year. Even if we ask for a 30% raise on that, that's 30% of $18,000. That's still less than $25K. The chancellor and the provost are getting these like hundreds of thousands of dollars in bonuses. What's the problem here? Part of the problem is when you have the ability to give yourself a raise, maybe you're less willing to do it for other people. I don't know. I'm gonna not use a spoon on this part, I'm gonna use a knife. I'll just get a better go this way. So, we are on strike, and here's the thing, if I'm being completely honest, I'm an anarchist and a communist. My ultimate aim is not just that the working class has better wages, but I am completely for worker control of the means of production, which in this case would be the university. I mean, but here's the thing. I mean, the support from the undergrads and the faculty at UIC has been amazing. Great support. But there's been a couple people who have written like hit pieces on us online. Here's the thing. Is what we're fighting for right now an end of the wage system and complete and total dismantling of capitalism in the university setting right now? No, that's not what we're fighting for right now because we're not at a point where that makes sense yet. We haven't done the organizing required. I'm not saying we as the GEO, I'm saying we as leftists, not we as the GEO. We haven't done the organizing required to have public support in seizing said means of production. We're not there. Rather than write hit pieces or do like leftist purity tests, let's work together. If you've got time, come out to the picket lines. I'm easy to find. All you gotta do is listen for the drums. That is where you'll find me. Just ask where the Lincoln Hall Drum Corps is. We're pretty easy to find. Alright, so this presentation is terrible. Let's clean this up. Why am I even talking about this at all? Well, one of the things I deeply care about is making sure that everybody's fed. And some of my friends aren't fed. Or at least not fed well. And it doesn't make any sense to me how that aligns in any way with the stated goals of a university who, on paper, says they're dedicated to inclusiveness and diversity. Your words mean nothing if you don't back them up with action. I want you to go in there. Here, scooch you over. That's so nice. That's so nice. Oh my goodness. And that's gonna go around. Yeah. There we go. A little more of this over the top. That's just beautiful. But here's another trick. When you're trying to do green onions as like a nice garnish, a nice way to do this is cut it kind of this way. You get these really long pieces that just, they look so nice. Look, TAs, GAs at UIC, we are the reason that the university runs. We're one of the main faces of the university for students. We want to get back to work because we're students as well. This is interrupting our lives. This is interrupting our research. This is interrupting our classes. This is interrupting our education as well. And what's frustrating about this, both for me personally as a student, but also as someone who believes in equality for all, there is enough for everyone. It's just being hoarded by a few. You know, I don't know if they just think they're doing something good for the university or whatever. I can't quite tell at this point. Right? There's plenty. Why have I had to get so good at egg dishes? Alright, don't get me wrong, like eggs are delicious and nutritious, and like if you eat eggs, I mean, this is good, right? Like, but it's incredibly frustrating from our end. We're not asking for the world. We're not asking for anything unreasonable. We just want to be able to live. And we will. And we're going to win because we have community support, we have faculty support, we have undergrad support, we have solidarity. And we know that there is enough for everyone. See you out on the picket lines, friends.